Hello, my name is Jamie Birchall, and you are listening to and or watching our podcast called Wormhole Pinball
Wormhole
Presents.
Pinball presents.
Wormhole Pinball Presents. Today, I'm very, very excited to be joined by two great individuals. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by a very special guest.
And today I'm very excited to be joined by
Two awesome guests all the way from Arizona. Hello and welcome to another episode of Wormhole Pinball Presents, episode 54 to be exact. And this week I bullied someone, ladies and gentlemen, in this podcast. I did. I really did. Before we start this interview, I'm going to give a shout out to a Discord channel created by my friend Colin Alsheimer from This Week in Pinball and the Kineticist. Colin created a Discord channel for pinball media and content creators. The channel just recently started, and it's been a lot of fun, Nick. On Thursdays, a few of us get together at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on voice Discord chat to discuss all things pinball. And it's been a lot of fun. Joe from Pinball Degenerates, Rob from Electric Playground, Don's Pinball Podcast, Alan Alsheimer, just to name a few. I'm name dropping a few, right? It's called the Pinball Hour. What is it? The Pinball Power Hour Weekly Chat. It's a terrible name, but don't worry about that. So long build up here. Stay with me, folks, okay? A few weeks ago, Neitzel joined. Neitzel joined.
There you go, Nick Neitzel. Good. I usually just tell people when they guess, like, how do you pronounce it? I just say.
I practice it too. It's bullshit.
Oh, that's fine.
He joined the lunch hour and he talked about starting his homebrew, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And 3 minutes in, I went into podcast Jamie mode, right? And I said, that's it. Stop talking. You're telling this on the podcast. So that's how this happened, ladies and gentlemen. So shout out to Colin for this. That was a long build up, but here we go, Nick. Welcome to the Wormhole virtually.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I hope I can see it in person one day. It's a pretty rad place you got.
Yeah, well, your buddy, well, we'll talk about that later. A friend of yours joined and came over here. And when we talk about that, I have the setup a little differently because we're going to be doing the Twipys, which we'll talk about later. And I've got this thing wired for sound, so it's just wired to the T's. So, all right, you made a serious splash at the Chicago Expo, and you were actually in the Electric Playground's booth.
Yeah,
and you showed off your homebrew Tony Hawk. Was this the first time you showed it off, or did you show it off at TPF?
No, so it debuted at Expo. And it started working 30 minutes before the doors opened. So it was a sprint to the finish for sure. But yeah, that was the first time anybody had seen it. Rob from the Electric Playground had seen it. He's another St. Louis guy. And he was like, we have to have you in the booth. We'll have a pop-up tent above you, and we really want to feature it in our booth to show, like, this is what St. Louis is bringing to Chicago. So it was really cool of them to have that game in there.
It was super cool. It was confusing at first, right? We're like, where's Tony Hawk? Where's Tony Hawk?
Yeah.
Like, we thought it would be in the homebrew section, but no, you guys were in the Electric Playground, and I got to play the hell out of it. I played it, I think 4 or 5 times, but the line was always long.
That was the number one complaint, which I'll take, right? Like, the number one complaint about a game there is that the line was long. I mean, that's the best kind of complaint you can get. But I had to wait in line for my own game, which was something that was interesting because, like, if I had to service it or like check on something, or I was like, well, I guess I better just get in line because I didn't want to just, cut people off. But yeah, a lot of people enjoyed it. I'm glad they did.
Oh, a lot of people enjoyed it. When I first played it, I said this had to be designed by an engineer. Not knowing you, not having spoken to you on Discord before. Let's start there, right? Let's start a little bit with your STEM background.
Okay. I originally went to school because I wanted to design roller coasters. I was absolutely obsessed with roller coasters as a kid. I grew up 10 minutes from Six Flags. It was my first job, was at Six Flags. I would say
Which Six
selling.
Flags? What was it
I'm
called?
sorry. Yeah, it was Six Flags Great Adventure. It was in New Jersey.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Well, I
I'm
mean, I
from Long
can't.
Island, New York.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
All right. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I moved to Jersey for a few grades, right? And
Okay.
Great Adventure was right there.
Yeah, yeah. It was. So I grew up on the Air Force Base there. I'm a Air Force brat. And it was like 10 minutes up the road in Jackson, New Jersey. So
We had a
I went.
luge. Remember the bobsled?
So that was a little bit before my time.
Oh,
That was
you're
out by the
aging
time I
me.
got there,
Yeah,
but
because it was dangerous as shit.
I'm
That's why.
sure the demon drop was there though. Remember that? The one that just dropped you and then you
Yeah, I
came
wouldn't
down
go
and you're on
on.
your back. Oh, okay.
No way I was going on that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, either way, that was my that was
Sorry.
my you know, foray, I guess, into engineering, and I was obsessed with Roller Coaster Tycoon. I had all the expansions. I played No Limits. If anybody out there is a coaster nerd, they know what that is. It's a essentially like a CAD program to design roller coasters. So that was what I wanted to do, and then I got to college, and I was like, man, physics and calculus is hard. So and I had other, I also was in the military as well, so I had other things going on, and was pulled out of school to go overseas a few times, and but eventually you know continually working towards the things that I love doing, ended up making a pinball machine. There was some race car stuff in there too, so
So you were doing a lot of race car things. You're always working with your hands, right? You're always doing something.
I was begging my dad for a soldering iron when like, I think I was like 7 years old or something. Just when I figured out what one was, I was like, that's what I need to, fix the RC car that I took apart and broke,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, after college and uh, a little bit during the military and afterwards, I got into drifting and I built a few drift cars, and me and my buddy raced those around the Midwest, and uh, that was a money pit. And then I picked
Sure.
pinball, so I didn't really, I didn't really get
Went
out of
from one
it.
pit to another, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you like fixing machines and building machines more than playing?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I am not a great player. I'm very what's the word I'm looking for? I, Not in awe, but the guys who are really good. It's like, oh, that's how that game's supposed to be played, not just slingshot into the out lane and, well, I guess my turn's over.
Yeah.
I go to league. Sometimes I had to stop going when I was building Tony Hawk because it was just, that took all of my time. But yeah, I would much rather work on them than I would play them. But I still like playing them, so that tells you how much I like working on them.
Our lead tech here at the Wormhole said to me once, because he never plays, and I was busting his balls, like, why don't you play? And he goes, you pinball players get a rush when you put up a high score.
Uh-huh.
I get a rush when I diagnose and fix an issue.
Yeah, he's dead on.
He
Yeah,
goes, that's my high score.
yeah,
Right. And, he takes these games from the dead that we have, like a Future Queen or these really rare titles, and he brings them from the dead. It's just, that's his rush,
yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, I do feel the rush like when I'm doing really great on a ball and I'm up a little bit, and like that is an insane feeling, but I get it so
Right.
sparsely that
Yeah. Me
I got
too.
to work hard for it. Yeah.
Me too. But I'm just keep chasing it. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just chasing it. And to be honest with you, I love doing this better.
Oh,
This,
really?
yeah, I love being on, the face of the wormhole, if you will, and doing the
Yeah.
podcast and all that shit. Much better than playing pinball because I
Well,
suck at it.
it's pinball adjacent too, which is cool because it's still
Yeah,
in
I
in
get to
that realm,
commentate on pinball. I get to talk about pinball. I get to
Yeah.
love on pinball, but
Yeah.
I don't have to get pissed off when I drain. I mean, it's pretty great. It's
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
great.
I have games at home, but they're worked on more than they're played, And when
Right.
one gets done, I'm like, well, that just looks great. You know what else looks great? this Electro on the marketplace sure could use some love, you know?
Yeah, yeah, you're addicted. You're addicted to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I totally get it. Was there a moment when you maybe you played pinball growing up where you said, I can build one of these?
Um, you know what? No. So, growing up, I was racing. I was into roller coasters, but I was racing motocross.
Okay.
So I've always been kind of like an extreme kid and then guy, you know. And I would go to a movie theater in town. It was an AMC. I don't know where in New Jersey it was. I couldn't tell you, but they had a South Park machine.
Okay.
And my mom was very strict, so like getting the opportunity to play the South Park pinball machine was like, oh yeah, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to. You know?
Right. Because it had shit and it had all these words in it.
Yeah, yeah. And so fast forward to about like 3.5 years ago, I I was into arcade machines and I was building like custom arcade machines just for fun, and I sold a few of them. And again, I like building them more than I like playing them. And then I checked out a place in Wood River, Illinois. It's called Atomic Pinball now. If anybody is within 100 miles or more, I recommend it. It's one of the most it's one of the best treasures of the Midwest, and especially in the St. Louis area. But I just checked it out on a whim, and I had played pinball virtually. I built like a virtual like Pinball FX3 cabinet, and then I get there and everything clicked. I was just like, oh, this is okay. So not
Yeah.
only is this going to be my personality now, this is what I'm going to be focusing on forever. I instantly knew the people there were so nice. James and Chuck were there, and they've been super supportive of me since the very first night I was there. Like I got to meet the owners, and then James and Chuck both knew about this game. They hosted it at their arcade for the past month. And that
Oh,
was
wow.
incredible. Having people show up and message me on Instagram and just like, this game is incredible. And just like it's been awesome. So
Were you,
shout out to Atomic Pinball. Thank you so much.
thank you for putting this piece of art on location. That is,
Yeah.
were you surprised when you started researching this machine that no one had done Tony Hawk's Pro Skater video game
Uh,
before?
I yeah, yeah, because I searched Pinside and I found a couple threads, and like it was just like, hey, Tony Hawk would make a great game, and there were like rumors floating around about that maybe they had it, or that it was in production, maybe it wasn't. Nobody really has a solid answer. If somebody wants to reach out to me and let me know if that ever was a real thing, that would be awesome. But um I was like, oh my gosh, how has this never been done? I mean,
Yeah.
the it's an arcade game where you're navigating a map, essentially rolling over things and making ramps, and it like translates so perfectly to pinball. So it really blew my mind, and I just had to do it. So
Here's some stats for you, Nick, right?
okay, okay,
On Tony Hawk, okay? And a quick short story. Tony Hawk Pro Skater video game franchise has over $1 billion in sales worldwide. 1 billion.
okay,
Nick, okay. Tony Hawk was offered $500,000 for his likeness for the video game, and he
okay.
turned it down. And instead, he said, I want royalties. And over the first three, and he was broke because skating was like hurting and he wasn't really making any money. He was getting older and he made 4 million off the first three games alone.
Oh my gosh.
And 4 million 25 years ago is a hell of a lot different, you know. And so just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome, when did you start? When did you start? Like when did you say, all right, I'm going?
So I had kicked the idea around to another buddy of mine. We were working for uh Travis Pastrana. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's like a extreme sports guy, and we volunteered to work this rally race event that he was putting on. And we were driving up, and I told him my idea. I said, hey, I've been kicking this idea around. I'm not really happy at my job, and I think this might be something I want to do in the future. Here's my idea for the game. And I told it to him, and he was like, without a doubt, you have to do this. And he was the first person I told. So then a little bit later, my fiance and I were in Chicago, and I said, you know what? I'm going to make that game. And it was a year before Expo that we were in Chicago. And I said, okay, this has to be destiny, right? We're in Chicago, the birthplace of pinball. It's a year before Expo. I need to make sure that I make this game. So I got this. Oh my gosh. Can you see this
This is
tattoo?
awesome. Yeah, I can see it.
Oh geez, I need to turn. Okay. Yeah, so I got that tattoo. So it's the coil with the EOS switch, flipper ball, and that was like you are going to make this pinball machine promise to myself and her and my friends and everything. So that was why I got that tattoo. And I've used it to explain why people's machines are broken when I go to fix them at their house. So that's been really cool too.
The ramps are so unique to say.
Thank you.
How do you design and build these wild ramps? Because you're going skateboarding.
Yeah. Yeah. The geometry was tough. Just figuring out how to get a ball to act like a skateboard, on a play field that's, at 6.5, 7 degrees. And then make those shots make sense on a play field, but also make them look like they do in the game, because the layout is based off of Warehouse from the very first game. And there's a sprinkling of Hanger in there too for people who are big fans of the game. They'll notice the grinding over the half pipe and the barrels. That's from Hanger on THPS 2, but the rest of it is just straight up Warehouse. So
That was what blew me away.
Yeah.
I tell you, was the fact that level one, that this warehouse,
Yeah, thank you.
and that was not missed on me.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
As an original PS1 guy who played the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I was like transformed to almost a kid. It wasn't that, or I wasn't that young, but unfortunately, but just the warehouse, I was just transformed to my PS1.
Yeah, thank you. That was a decision because it's so iconic, and it's so easily recognizable. I mean, if anybody has played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, they would have played the first level, right? And then even like advertising campaigns for the game, that level was shown off. And as far as stuff that's just easily recognizable, because I originally was like, okay, I can sprinkle in stuff from different levels. And then I was thinking about it, I was like, well, that wouldn't make sense. It would be a hodgepodge of all this stuff. So it needs to be cohesively, one of the levels from the game. And then, okay, how can I move this stuff around instead of what's there in the level to make sense on a pinball playfield?
Well done. You did
Thank
it.
you.
You did
Thank
it.
you.
And I didn't get a chance to meet you to tell you that, because I don't want to bother anybody. And the line was really long, but I was like, the minute the music started and I got into the warehouse, I was like, this is badass.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you had that reaction. A lot of people had that reaction. I'm glad that it worked. I had my fiance was with me, Allison, and she helped out a lot, and like so much. It helps so much having somebody that supportive with me there, as well as managing the project up until Expo. She was in the shop every single day, probably for like the last 3 months, just going down my checklist of, did you order this? Did you build this? Is the geometry done for this? Did you it was incredible. And then the other big help I had was my best friend Wes. I have to give a shout out to him. He reached out to me probably around the same time, and he saw the writing on the walls, and he was like, do you need help? And I was like, dude, I'm drowning here, man, because I was working a full-time job, and then going home and working on the game. I mean, I would come home and I would walk into my basement, and I would come back upstairs, 10:30 at night, get up the next morning at 5:30, and it was like that for almost a year. And he coded the game for me. I typed out what I wanted in English, and he translated it into what MPF could understand. And the game would not have been in the state that it's in if I didn't have the help from both of them. So thank you.
You can't go. It's almost impossible to go at it alone, dude. It's impossible.
People do it, but
Gotta have
not
a-
on that timeline. I
Not
mean,
on, not in a year,
no,
and to put that product out,
yeah.
it held up, right? You didn't have.
The only thing that happened, like, the stand-ups in the center take a beating because the center shots are tight, kind of on purpose. And also to make just everything work. But the stand-ups are 3D printed. They had to be because nobody makes the shape that I needed. But even those, I only had to replace one of them. And the game was beat up the entire weekend. So,
Oh, it just got hammered.
yeah. Yeah.
It, I don't know what got played more. That got played a ton. Alice got played a ton
Uh-huh.
because those took a beating. All the X-Men got beat up pretty good. Saw got beat up. All those in the homebrews, they just got played.
Yeah. Yeah. It got played so much that I was immediately motivated to figure out how to cool flippers more efficiently. And like 2 days after we got home, I figured out how to mount like heat sinks to them with fans. So most of the time it just has fans blowing on them. Well, I figured out that RC car motors are the same size as flipper coils, and they make like heat sinks for those. So I have aluminum heat sinks in there with fans on them, and those coils will be ice cold forever. That's
Unbelievable.
never gonna happen again.
Never happening.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Thanks.
How do I get that to the wormhole?
I'll send you the link on Amazon. It's literally just RC car.
No, no,
heat
no. I
sinks.
want that at the
Oh,
wormhole.
that? Oh, well, okay, so it was at Atomic, and there's two more places in St. Louis I know that really want it. So I'll drop it off. It does fine on location, and
Oh my
at
God, it's
Atomic,
so
I was
beautiful.
taking donations for the skate park project. So I put a QR code on there, and I have like a Dropbox too, so people can donate to that. And we raised, I think, over $250 at Atomic for that.
Awesome.
And the skate park project, they build skate parks in like underserved communities. And then also the like field testing, it was really valuable too, and just seeing like if anything needed to be fixed. So
Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question? Has anyone approached you about building this?
So far, there's nothing in the works. I would love for something to be in the works, but so far, it's.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'd love for it to happen. I mean, everything in due time, right? I mean, I'm sure that the big companies probably have a lot going on with the stuff that's already in the pipeline, right? And then injecting something into that with somebody who doesn't work, for their company. And
I get it, but make it happen.
Hey, you and me both, man. I want to see it out in the world too.
After the success of Tony Hawk, what is next for you, Nick?
I am working on my next game. I can give some details about it. I can't give a lot away.
I'll take everything you can give.
Okay. It is going to be an original license, because the big draw of the game is the tech that's inside of it. I did a few things inside of that game that have never been done, but the tech there's two pieces of tech that I'm developing right now inside of my next game that are, I wish I could say, I can't.
Don't even say it.
That have never been done in pinball. And when people play it, they are going to go, holy smokes. How has this never been done? And B, how do we get this into more games? So
I hope you patent it.
I patented two things on that. So.
Yeah, keep doing it, man.
Yeah.
Protect yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So that's in the works.
okay.
Uh, there is some other developments professionally as well. I guess now would be a good time to talk about that, right?
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So I was in the electric playground booth. Robin and Alec, the guys that run the electric playground, were excited to have me there. And I had been talking to them prior to Tony Hawk being finished, about working with them. And I told them, I said, guys, that would be incredible. That would be a dream come true for me to work in the industry, because I had asked him that question years prior and said, like, how do I get into the industry when we were first kicking the idea around of this? And they approached me and I was like, look, I'm working on this game. I really wish I could, but I've got enough going on. But after Expo, let's talk. And I am happy to say that I am now working for and with the electric playgrounds. Oh, you know what? I did not plan this. Check that out.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't. I was at work today, so I wore the hat.
So how long have you been talking to them? It seems a while, right?
Yeah. So I originally, when I knew I wanted to build a game, I built a virtual machine first. So I built a virtual cabinet based on Doom, which is my absolute favorite first-person shooter of all time,
All time.
all the way from the first one to Eternal. I'm so excited about the new one that's coming out. The Love the game, and the table on FX3 is really good. So I don't know if you like virtual stuff at all, but the Doom table on Pinball FX3 is fantastic. So I built it around that, and then he had reached out to me originally then and was like, hey, let's meet up in an arcade. I
Because you're both in St. Louis, right? I mean,
yeah. He just wanted to meet somebody, else who was making, pinball stuff in St. Louis. So we were just chit chatting, and he just wanted to introduce himself and thought my Doom machine was cool. And I told him the idea about Tony Hawk, and he was like, hey man, keep me posted on that. Let me know, if I can help in any way. And I mean, Robin is such a cool dude. I mean, from the second I met him, all he wanted to do was help. All he wanted to do was make sure that like I achieved my dream and got that game done, and offered to laser cut stuff. And I sent him progress pictures. And the electric playground guys are just the coolest, nicest group of guys. And just being able to work with them is an honor. I mean, they're great. So being able to leave my job working in the aviation industry and work for them as a product engineer is a dream come true.
Yeah. What's your role? I mean, what is a product engineer? What are you doing for them?
So they obviously have incredible toppers, right? They have a lot of great engineering going on there already. So Alex O'Rear has done some fantastic work doing their Arduino code and programming, and the what they can accomplish with those toppers with their own systems in place is just amazing. So I'm just coming in and adding to that, just working off of the work that has already been done, bringing in some experience that I have, and bringing some new ideas to the table, and just hopefully getting some more products out too. So
All right.
I mean, I will, right? That's my job. So
That's your job. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
So what's your first project? What are you working on first?
So this is really, really cool. Right now I am working on Pulp Fiction. So we're doing a topper for Pulp Fiction. And
No kidding.
yeah. It's sick. They had a lot of stuff done. The art looks incredible. I'm coming in and doing some of the programming and lighting, and adding some more creative input and engineering. We are revealing it in March.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
At
So
TPF?
yeah. So we're gonna be there. But we won't have a booth.
Okay.
But we will be at TPF, and the topper should be there as well. On display.
We got a Pulp Fiction.
I mean,
You want us to put it on there?
yeah,
You want us to
that'd be
bring it
rad.
and put it on there?
Let me talk to my boss. I don't want
Because
to.
we have a huge booth there, dude.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be highly interactive. The light shows on this one are great. We had to complement the light shows on Pulp Fiction. I mean, it's sitting right behind you, so you're very familiar with the game.
Sure.
The theme integration, the light, the sound, like everything is just so crisp on that game. So we couldn't not do it justice. But there's some new ideas on that topper that I'm excited to show off.
So when are we going to first get a glimpse of this puppy? Because you're kind of coming in halfway through, right?
Yeah. That will probably be TPF.
Okay.
We'll see. Maybe Robin and Alec will reveal something prior to TPF, but we'll see.
So do you have any ideas on your own that you're working on for Electric Playground?
So we did Robin and Alec did a survey. And there was a lot of responses, which gave us a lot of great ideas. I think I have it over here. And I'm not going to say what we're working on next.
Okay, don't.
But we had over 300 responses. And so going through that, like when I came on, I got to see all that, and going through that, like some of the ones that stood out were Lord of the Rings, Jaws, Theater of Magic, Indiana Jones, Star Trek, Next Generation. There was a lot of comments on that. So the feedback has been great because that kind of tells us like what the customers want. But then also kind of inspires us too and says, okay, people are very passionate about this. Why are they passionate about it? Let's get more into that game. Let's figure out, oh, wow, this is really cool. This is unique. So
That is just fantastic. If anyone has not seen the Electric Playground's toppers, first of all, we're getting one because we have an original Attack from Mars that's coming. Oh, we cannot wait for that. That topper's unbelievable. I'm not really a topper guy, and that one's unbelievable.
yeah.
And one of the wormholers, John Spates, him and his partner Taylor at Eureka Heights have the Godzilla one.
Yeah.
And
that one comes in multiple trims too. That one is like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
So where can people learn more about, the Pulp Fiction topper?
Well, okay. So you can learn about all of the Electric Playground stuff, teppinball.com. So the electricplaygroundpinball.com. Excuse me. It's just teppinball.com, but that's what it stands for. There's going to be a wait list too.
Oh, okay. So, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, so people can get on the wait list and have their topper reserved when we start.
You have to have a wait list because I think it's going to be a very popular topper that you guys are going to sell here. I think it's fantastic.
I came up with an idea for it like 2 days ago that I'm like inside just cheesing about because it's so cool.
Oh, that's so cool. That's great.
Yeah, we got the parts coming.
They made a fantastic hire. I got to hang out with Alec a couple of days ago, actually.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about this, but he wouldn't give me anything.
Oh, well, I'm giving you a little more. So
this is very exciting. I didn't really know what was going on here. So yeah. I didn't know it was Pulp. So this is fantastic. I'm so happy for you. That's going to be a fantastic topper. And I can't wait to see it, and I'll talk to the boys about TPF and see what maybe we can work something out.
Yeah. I can't wait to show it off. What we have done so far is really, really great. And what's coming up is going to be even better.
All right. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right. We have a game that we play with everyone, Nick. Okay. It's called the Hurry Up. Okay. And at the end of the interview, it's just stupid questions.
Okay.
And it's a hurry up rapid fire game. And I think we have some fun on some of these. All right. Okay. You ready?
Wait. I'm going to hydrate.
Get some hydrate. I'm going to get some Diet Coke. And if you can't answer the question, it's too much, no worries. You just say pass.
Okay. It's good water.
All right. Describe the Pulp Fiction topper in grave detail. I'm kidding. It's
almost got me there. Yeah.
All right. Favorite fighter jet you have worked on for the U.S. military?
Oh man. Oh my gosh. The F-15. Incredible airplane. It's been around since the 60s, believe it or not, and it's still an incredible airplane. So.
Have you ever been to Area 51? And is the government in possession of alien craft?
That I couldn't tell you.
That's disappointing. Favorite pinball designer of all time?
Man. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're really putting me on the spot here.
I know.
I will say, oh my gosh, man. I'll say this because I don't want to name anybody specifically because
okay. I'll give you a cop out. Go ahead.
I am copping out a little bit.
You gave me a lot of information today. It was a really good interview, so I'm going to give you a slack on the hurry up.
I will say the homebrewers, and here's why. Because if you want to see really unique ideas that mainstream, pinball companies aren't going to take the risk to do, or have decided that, this, I don't really like this, or, this isn't going to work in an arcade setting. This isn't going to last 10,000, hits or whatever. Walk into the homebrew area and see the creativity coming out of these guys' basements and garages, and the stuff that they can pull off with, base level Tinkercad stuff, is just, that's where it's at. Like pinball fandom, I get really excited about every new game that comes out. Every single game. I've never seen one, and I've only been in it for a few years, that I'm not excited about. But I get really excited to see the stuff that the homebrew guys put out.
All right, not a cop out. That was a really good answer. No, it wasn't a cop out. It was a damn good answer. Damn it. All right, I wanted to give you crap about it. All right, newer pinball machines have the action button. Yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down for the action button?
Thumbs up. Here's why. This is in my basement right now because I'm adding an action button for TPF. So
awesome. Look at that info, ladies and gentlemen. What are you gonna do with the action button?
So the only way to activate the ollie save, so when you drop in and then it jumps off of the scoop and then that ramp comes up, the only way to activate that is with that shot. So I want to give the player an opportunity once per ball, if you drain, that you can save the ball by pressing that, because the way the lower third is designed, if you drain on the right hand side, it'll actually come up on the left like a half pipe, and then you can ollie up out of that and save your ball with the action button. So that's
pretty cool. All right. I can never do an ollie, by the way. I sucked at skating.
I snapped my Achilles at 30, so I'm done skating. I did ride my topper around the expo floor on Sunday when we were packing up. We were disassembling it, and I was like, you know what? My topper's a legit skateboard. I think I'm just going to take this thing first. So I was skating around Expo.
That's pretty cool. You are hired by a major pinball company, but you have to design one of these 3 video game franchises.
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, or Legend of Zelda. What do you choose?
Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, or Legend of Zelda?
Yes. I almost threw Mario in, but
I'm a car guy, so I'm gonna say Grand Theft Auto.
It'd be a pretty cool pinball machine. All right, last question for you in the hurry up, which wasn't very hurried, by the way. Sorry. On February 22nd, live at the Twipys here at the Wormhole, if your machine, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, wins a Twippy for Homebrew of the Year, who will you thank first in your acceptance speech? I told you they're tough sometimes.
It's going to be a tie between my fiance Allison and my best friend Wes. The contributions they made to that game, they're listed in the credits of the game. because they were such a big help. But uh, everybody out there who helped me out, the Electric Playground, Atomic Pinball, my buddy James Elterman, he was a huge help as well.
You didn't win yet, Nick. Okay, I didn't say
No, sorry,
you officially won. I'm just
I'm
saying.
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
I
If
have
you
I have a lot of
did,
people to thank because I didn't do it on my own. So yes,
no, I know this.
I
I'm just
put the
giving you a
work
hard
in,
time.
but it was a group effort.
Nick, this is a lot of fun. Congratulations on working with the Electric Playground. Those guys are absolutely fantastic. This is some really exciting stuff that you divulged on here. Tell us again the website. It's teppinball.com,
Correct. .com.
and people can join the wait list for the Pulp Fiction Topper. This comes out Friday,
Okay.
so we're gonna break the news, I think. So we're gonna
I
break
think
the
so too.
news on the
Yeah, we
Pulp Fiction
haven't said
Topper.
anything, so I'm the first person to kind of spill the beans.
Well, that's awesome, and thank you for doing it here at the Wormhole. I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me, man. This was
You want to see the
fun.
wormhole real quick?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Because
I've seen it, but
I've
I'd like to
got
see your.
I've got Alec was here,
Yeah.
and I could show you the wormhole room cams. Let's see.
Ooh. All right.
So there's the wormhole. It's smaller than you think, right? It's only like 1,500 square feet, but it's just fun. You know, we've got all these signs, and Tim is such a collector of signs, and Christine, and then we put all these stickers up. It's just a really cool vibe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the punk vibe from all the stickers and yeah,
Well,
that's rad.
Tim was a big skateboarder,
Yeah.
and so he loves the punk rock and he loves all that crap. So
Oh,
and
crap.
and so he was really excited when I told him I was going to be talking to you. He's like, "Man, I spent a lot of time in their booth at Expo too." So
Good. I'm flattered. That's great to hear.
really appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, Nick. Congratulations and continued success. And
Thank you.
I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see your second machine. I can't
I
wait to see
can't wait
your
to
Pulp
see it
Fiction Topper.
either. I want it to be done already.
You're kicking ass and taking names. It's
Sweet.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. Thanks.
Well, that was fun. It really was. I had a great time on that interview. And I knew it. The minute he went on that Discord chat, I was like, Don's not here. All the other podcasters aren't here. I'm swooping in and I'm grabbing Nick because it was a good podcast. So I really had a lot of fun. How about the new camera? Not bad. Getting ready for the Twipys, right? It's starting to look good. I'll keep this short tonight because I've been here way too often lately, and I miss my home, even though I only live a mile and a half away. Don't get me wrong, I'm very, very happy to be hosting the Twibbies here in a few weeks, but I'm busting my ass, and so is the entire team. So from Colin to Aaron to the other Aaron to Ralph to Donovan, Glenn, too many to mention, they're busting their ass to put on an incredible evening and weekend. So there are a few tickets left. I think there's like a handful. So it's an awesome event. You've got to come. I'm going to do the Wormhole Vault, show you all, not all, but a great taste of the rare machines that we have and our tech center, if you will. Then we're going to Eureka Heights. Eureka Heights is right down the street. We're doing a tournament at Eureka Heights as well as a D&D launch party. So that's going to be pretty great. And then, of course, Saturday is Barrels of Fun tour. We're actually starting with a breakfast at a private collections house that we're working on. Then the Barrels of Fun tour. Then you come here, play some games as a wormhole, and then we'll record the Twippies. Then Sunday is a tournament here as well. So forget it. I mean, we're putting a hell of a show for you. Also, the multicasting that we're doing was a big, big hit. I'm seriously considering doing the Pinball Community Awards on both Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Let me know what you think in the comments or send me an email, wormholepinball@gmail.com. Uh, and then click on those so that you're following us and that you know, hey, these guys went live. If you're a content creator and want to join that Discord channel that Colin put together, email Colin or hit him up on Facebook or email us at wormholepinball@gmail.com. I'll hook you up with Colin. and don't get sick of us yet, right? Because next week I have a podcast next week, and then I'm taking the rest off for the Twipys to really focus on it and go from there. All right, that's it. You know my outro. Be good to your fellow pinballers. We'll talk to you soon.